In this episode of Exploring Off the Grid, we explore more of Fraser Island's hidden gems. It's time for a bit of R&R at Eli Creek. We track down the elusive Media Stump, check out an abandoned logging camp, and visit the deserted aircraft hangar. So come along and join us for the ride. This is Exploring Off the Grid. In the last episode, we travelled north to Sandy Cape. Now it's time to race the tide and get through Nagala as we head back south to meet up with Jono and Wendy.
Copy, Rick. Just spotted you, so we'll see you in a minute.
One spot we love to visit on Fraser Island is Central Station. Originally a logging camp that grew into a small township, the history of this place is just unbelievable. And it still has some of the original buildings and machinery used back in the logging days.
What do you call that? Petrol Bowser.
And the Rainforest Boardwalk, well, that's just unreal. Well, unfortunately, this is where George and Kylie have to leave us. They had prior commitments, so they're racing to catch the barge home. Which is a real shame, because our next stop is a spectacular Lake Mackenzie.
Good old Lake Mackenzie, one of Fraser Island's favourite spots, and you know why. Hey, Wen.
Beautiful.
Coming in?
Okay.
Well, after our quick dip, now it's back on the trail to find the elusive Media Stump. Well guys, I reckon we've lost our cameraman. I can't get him on the radio. I think he might have took the wrong turn back to Lake Mackenzie. You weren't with us there earlier today when I caught up with Rod up at Happy Valley. Have you ever heard of the Media Stump?
No, mate, I have not.
Okay, it was a sort of a political statement back, I think he was saying early 90s when the logging sort of finished. It was a big tree that was cut down and they had like 15 kids were standing on it, and the photo went pretty widespread, and that's one of the things that caused all the logging to get shut down.
Actually, mate, now you mention it, yeah, Kim Walker from Dilly Village actually knew the bloke that was there. And yeah, that's a true story.
Yeah, no, so it's I've got it marked on the map, so I reckon we try and get out there tomorrow, and that's also very close to the side of that airstrip we're talking about with the old hangar, so a bit of a hill climb to get in there apparently, so yeah, we might check that one out tomorrow.
Yep, I mean, seems like a good plan, mate.
Cool, cool, as long as we can find this bloody cameraman. Otherwise we're right up the creek without a paddle.
Well, he's in a very quick car, mate, and missing.
Yeah, I don't think so. So with Ian, the cameraman, back on board and the light fading, we decided there's no better place to set up camp for the night than just down from Eli Creek.
That jungle person beside you.
So the next morning, Jono was keen to do some exploring before we set off inland again.
Dingo sitting on the bank, just watching everyone floating by. Oh, yeah.
As we waved goodbye to Eli Creek, we were joined by a mate of Jono's, Brian, another Isuzu truck owner, ready to explore some of Fraser Island's inland tracks with us. Yeah, you copy, Brian?
Yeah, Rick.
Hey mate, welcome to the trucking community, eh?
Thanks, mate. It's been a long time coming.
You were telling me your Isuzu's AMT, mate. How are you finding that on the tracks?
And I haven't had any dramas. I told both with it a bit as well. And yeah, I mean, we did 800 odd Ks yesterday in it, and not a single drama at all.
It's a whole new world, isn't it? So much more space. They go literally anywhere, don't they?
It was just a no-brainer for the price you spend on these things compared to everything else on the market in the same sort of ballpark. They're just fantastic.
As you know, I've got mine through all the rain, and can't fault a single thing actually. And I think you've had a bit done, even yours, John, too, haven't you?
Oh, mate, I've got issues, that's for sure. A lot of issues. With the truck or me, mate?
Well, I was talking the truck. We all know you got bloody issues, mate.
Yeah, mate, no, just after doing a major canopy build, basically from scratch, you run into little things. Mate, we got it pretty well right, but there's little things we'll go back and fix.
I don't think we'll ever have our trucks finished. There's always something we'll be modifying or changing, but main thing is we're getting out there using them, eh?
Mate, I think that's just the main goal. Just you build these trucks for a reason, and that's not to sit in the bloody shed or your backyard. Get out and use them. See this bloody country.
Absolutely. Well, we're in the Valley of the Giants, looking for the Media Stump. Not having much success in finding it at this stage, but geez, it's worth coming out here. Not that far from Central Station, so you can easily come out here and check this out. It's just a bit of a loop. I know it's probably a couple of kilometres around. Mate, the trees out here, it's just unbelievable. They are massive. And then out of nowhere, we found what we were searching for. Just off to the side of the track, there was no signage, no markings, but it was obvious, this is the Media Stump. How big is this thing? So this is the so-called Media Stump. Apparently there was about 15 kids all standing on here when it went crazy in the media. So yeah, you can see why, it's a big tree. I think the photo went crazy in 1991. Yeah, that's okay. Roughly when the logging all stopped. So yeah. Well, she's a bit tight going through here. As you can see, it's a bit nasty. Bloody hell. Oh, I don't think Jono will be enjoying this on his brand new paint job on his little red rocket. Sorry, Jono. But some of the sacrifices you make to get to some of these cool places. Yeah, well, that was tight. All right, now we're heading out to the old log camp. So that's where all the machinery is that was just left behind from back in the logging days. So we can get through this white stuff. That's what we're off to now, so stay tuned. This site, known as Postan's logging camp, And the story goes that when logging on Fraser Island was finally shut down for good in 1991, they only had a week to clear out. So that's why so much of the original machinery and buildings still remain on the island.
A bit of water for us.
That's the flash one.
Used to turn the eggs here.
All the way down here.
Used to use running Cunnamulla.
Oh, we don't take anything?
Yeah, well, that's
I didn't even look.
Nah, that's the egg compressor. Is it? Yeah, it's got their blade. Yeah, okay. Going on another wooden bridge that looks like it's been rebuilt after the bushfires they had a few years ago. So all the country's looking good, it's all growing back, nice and lush and green after all the rain we've had. Still got a lot of signs of the pretty bloody severe bushfire that did go through here. But yeah, everything bounces back over time. It's good to see.
So as we wound our way through a few more tracks, it wasn't long before we made it to our destination, the old Bogimbah Airstrip. From the air it was obvious the airstrip hadn't been used for years, but the old aircraft hangar, well, that was a different story. Still looked as solid as the day it was built. And you know what? I reckon our trucks look right at home parked in there. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode on Fraser Island. If you're liking what we do, give us a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and tell us where you want to see us go next. This is Exploring Off the Grid.